can resist a cute puppy? And Ashley Horton of the Cut Shop is here with a super cute puppy.
Yes, we actually got a new puppy, and so now I'm moving from my kids to puppy layouts. I have a new subject to scrap.
So now you're obviously known for your cut files, and you're known for thinking of innovative ways to use cut files. And so these are some of the files right here you can see that obviously you created. And I just scan them right into our electronic cutter. And then you can see I have on my mat, my cutting mat, a wide variety, right? We've laid this out with a bunch of pattern papers and a piece of white paper. Because actually what we're going to do is we're going to cut out pieces for layering along with our mask slash.
Yes, because we want to add some behind those open spaces.
Exactly. So let me just go ahead and load this into the machine. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab two different files. So the first thing I'm going to grab is obviously the big file right there. You can see it, and we can resize it to any size that we want it to be.
Yeah, you can have varying sizes for the
which
page.
I think is cool. So let's just make it 5 inches wide because that's an arbitrary size that actually, you know what, let's make it even smaller. Let's make it like 2.5 inches just because everything little is cute. And everything giant is kind of cute too. I don't know what that is, but something in the middle, not so much. So there it is right there. And I'm going to hit OK. It looks great. And now I'm going to add, actually, I'm going to go back in. And remember I said we were going to pull up a second file. So I'm going to go ahead, and it's actually the same file, but with the word love missing right there. You can see it. And what I'm going to go ahead now and do is first let me move that file out of the way so you can actually really see it, right? And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to size it to the exact same size that we sized the other one so that they match. We're talking about color matching, but also
size matching.
Size matching, which is a good thing. So I'm just going to go ahead at 2.5. There it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan in all of these papers so that we can actually place our files where we want, because again, we're talking about layering. And I think you can see the layering a little bit more clearly on the layout that's down on the table there, because you can clearly see, because those you kept them white, you can see the pattern paper right behind them,
and it pops that white cut file,
look. Okay, so once my paper comes up on here, I know that I want to cut the love one out of the white paper, so I'm going to place that. But you know what? I have 4 pieces of paper and only one of these files, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add so that I have 4 of them, and then I'm just going to drag them out so that they're going to cut on each of these pieces of paper, and then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut them out. And now while this is all cutting out, I know that you are going to show us, you kept talking about mask stencil, mask stencil. What are we doing?
We're going to add these. These are, you know, I just did white because we're really not going to use these for anything later. We just want to put them on our page wherever you want these to go.
How randomly are you thinking about this?
When I use circles, I kind of like to keep them clustered. So I wanted to add these two with the masking and then kind of fill in with the others that I'm going to back with the pattern paper and add the watercolor crayon too. So just kind of keeping that design kind of clustered, but you could spread out circles. They're fun to kind of, you know, give motion to your page, but we just want to get those in place, and then we're going to use some spray mist. And so you just want to open that up and get it shaken up.
I notice you have your area protected because you don't want to get a lot of mist everywhere.
And you're just going to spray right over that. And you want to kind of spray over so you're not spraying like from the side, because your feet will get under.
I was going to say, I feel like you're doing two incredibly smart things, which is you're spraying from like 6 to 8 inches away, and you're not directly over, you're kind of at an angle.
Yeah. And so you want to, if you want to use however many colors, you can do several, and I like to do the 2 and then kind of go back in and add that other color just to give it some variation.
Layers too, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, and so once that's done, you can just remove these from your page, and you're going to get that masked look. And so it's going to leave the white, but you're going to have the color. And so you want to let that dry, and you can see that we have one here that's already dry, and it's kind of sparkly and pretty.
Now I noticed, by the way, that you have a big color difference between these ones that are wet and this one that's dry. Why is there such a color difference? Did you just use more spray ink?
Well, this one we're actually going to use the watercolor crayons.
Oh, how cool.
And you can blend the colors, and so you just want to take those and you can draw directly on the cut file. And I just kind of add the color wherever, there's no rhyme or reason to where you put it. And I just kind of put all of it there first, and then go back and just blend it with my finger, because the colors can overlap.
So now you could even do this on the ones that you sprayed. You don't have to have a separate second set or anything like that.
Yeah, you could do that because you've still got that color on there if you want to keep that.
And so now while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull some of these cuts off so that I can have them ready for you.
Yeah, because we want to back those.
Exactly.
The ones with the watercolor crayon. And so once you have your color on there, you want to be careful with these just because they do have some thin pieces on the cut file, and you're just going to use your finger to blend that color all along and just get a mix. And I used 4 different watercolor crayons on this one, and so it just gives you a variation in the color. And you can see how it just totally changes the look. Yeah,
it does, and the color is so nice, intense, and bright, which I like too. But and yet you're staying exactly within the same color scheme.
Yeah, you have those same colors pulled,
which is really helping you make sure that everything looks unified. Now, if you'll look at what I'm doing, you'll see that while I've pulled off both the negative and the positive of it, this file I might save for another page. But what we actually want is the inside pieces, right?
Yeah, because we're going to back, and so we need those positive shapes,
which I think is a really cool idea too. So I'm going to give you, this is the file that I pulled off, and I was really hurried, which is why it's a little bit wrinkled trying to get it off. But you certainly might want to be a little more careful with it. So now you are going to show us exactly how to back that with some pattern paper.
Because we have these that are finished, and so we would just want to take the paper.
Although I'm not sure that's the same size.
Yeah, we can check it and see, and it looks like it's close. So you can just kind of move it around and see if it fits in there. And that one looks like it goes right there. And so you just want to get those different papers in. And you can choose like the different colors.
I was going to say you did a really nice mix again. Again, we're talking about color here, right? And so you had all warm colors with your paints and mists and all that kind of stuff. And now again, you're using all warm colors except for that nice little cool blue, which does add a little bit of contrast to what you're doing, which I like.
And then you can add those behind, and if you want to use some washi tape just to kind of adhere those really quick into those spots. And we want to move that one back over here. And that's just going to hold those in place, and you don't have to get messy with adhesive or anything like that.
That's super easy. You could add stitching or anything else. Now, obviously, this one is not the exact same size. We didn't cut it, whereas this one is. And if you look at this, I'm going to be able to now perfectly fit these pieces in because they're exactly the right size. It fits together like a puzzle, exactly how I want it to. Boom, boom, boom. And so quickly and easily, I have a gorgeous, gorgeous embellishment, you know, that you can take any way.
Yeah, and you can see how it just makes it look so different with the masking and then the pattern paper behind the cut file with the watercolor crayon.
Such a great creative idea, and again, so many different uses for cutting it once and using it a million times.
We like to do that.